Great, amazing day to each and every one of you. Come on in, come on in. We greatly appreciate you for taking the time to come on in with us here on this great, fine, amazing day. Listen, it is the top of the morning, right? Maybe the top of the evening, or maybe the bottom of the evening, wherever you may be zoning in from. If you don't see that live button right above there, then you're definitely watching a replay. Wanted to come in early to definitely to share this great important information with you. And so we're going to be sharing information of how to protect your family, right? We want to definitely help you to protect 7 people in your family, but you can protect more, right? And so many of us, we know that so many people deal with GoFundMe and so many other things. And so these are the key topics that we're going to talk about here on today, the myths and all of those things that goes on behind the scenes that typically tears a lot of families apart, or even sometimes leaves families unprotected. And so here at Nurture by Natasha, we want to definitely help you to cultivate that healthy lifestyle while taking time to put the mask on you, but also to protect your loved ones as well. Okay. And so, of having a background of working in the cemetery industry for 6 years once I left the school system, listen, this is near and dear to me as well, as along with the wellness wheel, and it's a part of it, right? It's a part of the financial piece, and to making sure that you have those things in place, right? This can be a burden on a lot of families to cause extra burden that's unnecessary, that doesn't need to happen. And so listen, come on in, hit the share button out, sprinkle the love out to your family and your friends and all of those wonderful people that you care and you love the most. And I'm going to dive in and I'm going to share some important information that is not life insurance, okay? I'm not here for life insurance at all. So definitely, if you're tuning in, put listen, she's not telling you about life insurance. She's telling you how to protect 7 people, right? Don't even have to be your family, and how to get them protected. And listen, if you're one that, the summer months are here, the winter months, whatever time of season that you travel with your family or your friends or whatever the case may be, or maybe even work, right? This is a plan that is definitely going to help to get you back to your country or to the city and state where you want to be laid to rest. It's a hard topic that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it's much needed. Okay. And so we're going to dive in today, and we're going to definitely share this out with you. It will be information that will be definitely left here for you to look at. I do presentations. I also come out on scene. We could do virtual, whatever the case may be, right? We need to definitely to get these things in place to your loved ones. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here. And so what we do here is we protect people that you love. We protect people that you love. And we definitely want to protect those that you love, right? And so you see here is a beautiful family, and we want to help you protect them. Today, our agenda was going to be we're going to talk about what is Assure, right? Welcome you to Assure. What is Assure, and what is it all about? What is it all about, and how can it help me? We're going to do a brief overview of everything. If anyone's on and they would like to know 4 through 6, well, we go definitely have some Q&A, right? Because we want you to give us some feedback. So if you're tuning in and you're watching, listen, don't be a bumblebee flying and just buzzing around, and don't ask any questions, because the time is now. Time waits for no one. Many times we turn on the TV and we see so many things happening, and the fact of the matter is we don't have all our ducks and eggs in a row. Many of you remember when Aretha Franklin passed away. It was a lot of things that she didn't have in place. James Brown, it was a lot of things that he didn't have in place. And so having these estates and all of these things in place, as I begin to help families behind the scenes in the midst of them reaching out and wanting me to help, I wanted to come in and share it here with my Nurture by Natasha community as well. Okay. And so what I love about this partnership that I have partnered with, right, is that it's recession proof, right? This is just a holding place for all of us. It's not a win if we're going to leave from this earth. It's a matter of when. Okay. It's a matter of when we're going to leave. And so what I love about this is that, if you're looking for some additional income, I'll state that this is not an MLM at all, right? It's all about just sharing this opportunity to afford someone else the opportunity to be able to take care of their loved ones and not break the bank. Okay. You could do it full time or part time. You can earn while you learn, right? You don't need a license to do this, because it's not insurance. And so it's no chargeback. So if it's any insurance agents that have popped in or that you have shared this with, you'll see that, in the midst of me sharing this, there is no chargebacks at all. You get paid twice a month on the 15th as well as the 30th. This is a residual income for life. So not only are you creating a residual income for life for yourself, you're creating a legacy for your family. Now, listen, many people that I have shared this with, have stated to me, I have life insurance. That's great, right? But the one thing that they didn't tell you, that life insurance is for life, right? It's for life. It's for the living. It's not for you to put it in the ground and to use it to bury your loved ones, right? If you have a spouse, if you have some children, you have some grandchildren, maybe you have a charitable constitution that you want to leave it to. That's what it's for. It's for the living of, to keep the upkeeping of going on of a loss of an income. And so what this does is it allows you to build that generational wealth to keep your 100% of your life insurance policy, as well as to help to take care of all the funeral expenses for your 7 people, right? 7 people for just $75. It's no medical exam. There's no immigration status whatsoever, no territory limitations, no cancellations. And guess what? No long-term contracts. All I need is the 7 names and the birthdays. And guess what? We can get you covered, right? But there is still 3 underlying causes that I'm going to talk about. And so these opportunities are for individuals, for churches, corporation, pre-need agents, right? So if you work in a funeral home or maybe even a cemetery, this is something great that you can definitely add on to what it is that you're doing. You can work from home. Listen, you can work from anywhere. You have an amazing smartphone, right? And many of us, we have those. It's for retired seniors. So my baby boomers, this is something great that they can sit home and do. And listen, if you have those incarcerated family members or friends, you can also get them covered under this plan, okay? People who cannot be covered by traditional policies can also be covered with this amazing plan that I'm going to share here with you. Now, most of the time, when people don't have their affairs in order, they point their fingers. Well, my mother didn't do this for me. My church, I've been going to this church for years, right? I've been paying my tithes and my offerings, and I've been a part of this church since I was 5. Well, yay, hi, right? And so, people point fingers, right? They point fingers at you are the siblings and all of this and all of that. But listen, we all have bills, right? Income doesn't stop. Well, bills doesn't stop, right? Bill doesn't stop coming in, and bill can just keep tapping and knocking on your door. And so even in the midst, people want to point the blame, right? Some of us are living paycheck to paycheck, minute to minute, right? Let's be real, with gas prices and everything else going up. And then the win happens, right? Whose fault is it that takes the responsibility to making sure that your loved one is protected, right? And no one wants that, right? Because it can be super costly to just do an average funeral today in this era. I would say it would be between maybe 15,000 to maybe 20,000, depending upon what it is, right? And so at the time of need that you need these things, you're pulling on your heartstrings because you love your loved ones. How many people love your loved ones, right? Sometimes they may get on our nerves and things like that, but we love them and they're ours, right? And so even in the midst, we want to figure out how we're going to get this situation taken care of. And it's some other information that I go deeper once you plan a session with me, set up an appointment with the session with me, that we go a little bit deeper, okay? And so, whose fault really is it, right? And so if you know that your loved one is not responsible. So let me tell you a little bit about Assure, right? Assure, they have 70 years of experience, right? They've been here in the U.S. since 2007. They're accredited by the Better Business Bureau, as well as the National Funeral and Director Association. And so they range from the Latin America, United States, as well as Barbados and the Caribbean countries in Latin America, okay? And so they have experience in doing all of this that they bring to you, and this information that I'm sharing with you here. And so why Assure? Listen, they have more than 2,500 organizations that make up their portfolio of clients throughout the United States, Latin America, as well as the Caribbean. They provided more than 10,000 funeral services each year. And I'm sure you can attest to that you have some people that are in your family that have gone on, right, in the lifetime that you've been here. And so the benefits that I want to share with you today that Assure offers is they cover all the basic funeral expenses within the coverage area. So if you have in any of those coverage area, United States, Caribbeans, Latin America, they have you covered. If you travel outside of your city and state, they will get you back, right? They transport the decedent within the United States, its territories of Latin America, Caribbean, Jamaica, Barbados, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas, right? And many of you, you're like, yes, I got my passport to get there. But do you have your passport to make sure that not only just you are covered, but that your loved ones are covered as well, okay? So the plan member holder. The plan member holder is you that starts the plan, okay? So you starting the plan, you are exclusively the plan holder, and you will get a ticket, a round trip ticket, to be accompanied to that loved one service, okay? You'll get a ticket to get there and a ticket to get back. So the family plan for members 65 or younger can be included regardless of kinship. How cool and amazing, right? Because most of the time, if you get an insurance policy, it's just you have your children, they have to be related, and they're just riders or their spouse. This is not that. It's not life insurance, okay? And so you can cover your parents, you can cover your neighbor, you can cover the homeless guy that you may give some money to on your way to work or getting a coffee, whatever the case may be. You may have a close family friend that doesn't have any relatives left, and you want to make sure that they're covered and so that they can, get the proper respects that's due. And so you can add a minimum of 2 people onto an additional plan, okay, with that. And so we're going to dive more into this. And listen, if you have any questions, please get your pen and paper and jot them down. And so the services that are offered is that it'll collect the decedent within 3 to 4 hours, okay? The preparation of the decedent. It'll also provide a standard casket for viewing and the burial. And now listen, if your loved one wants to be cremated, listen, that's a conversation that needs to be had, right? And not deciding that, hey, I'm going to cremate them because they wasn't prepared. And, a lot of people are leaning more towards cremation these days because it's so inexpensive in doing it, and it's not as much as a traditional, which is a full body of, traditional funeral. But the basic funeral home room is definitely covered in this with the viewing, a reminder package, as well as that death certificate, a standard casket depending upon the country and the regulations, or urn for the ashes that you have for your loved one. Again, economy class round trip. And listen, if you have any of the paperwork that typically you would have to do to call an international company or a funeral home, so to say, hey, I want my loved one to come there, and all the hustle and bustle with the stress that's added on in the midst of you trying to get your loved one to Haiti or to Dominican Republic or to Jamaica or Barbados or any of those Latin or Caribbean countries. It takes the stress away from you where you don't have to worry about picking up the telephone and making those calls to set up the paperwork and all of the paper that you have to do to make the transaction smooth. Assure takes care of all of those things for you, right? And so that's less added stress that you have to take care of. Now there's 4 conditions that you will get no coverage with this plan, right? Again, it's not life insurance. This is a membership plan. Assured helps. It doesn't protect people who have the following pre-existing conditions: a person that has a brain tumor, has been in hospice or that is on hospice, a person that has terminal state, or a person that's on dialysis. Now listen, if a person has cancer at the time of requesting the plan, and then if that person becomes cancer free, they can get coverage, okay? So I know a lot of people with these health insurance plans and all of that, they have those red tape lines where it doesn't get the people that has been diagnosed with cancer covered. And so this would definitely cover them, especially if you know that your children are not responsible and you know that they're not going to do the right thing with the assets that you left behind, then this plan is the right plan for you. And so, it was mind blowing to me. I took in care of my cemetery expenses, but I didn't take care of my funeral side. And so this was a big blessing to me and my family to definitely to be able to protect some extra family members underneath my umbrella of my 7 people to protect them as well. And so with the basic funeral expenses in the United States and its territory, it transfers the decedent to the local funeral provider, right? And that could be rather pricey, right? Because what if you don't have a family funeral home that you typically deal with? They can help you to find that, right? To give you some places that are top A grade that's in your area. Preparation of the decedent at a basic viewing time, casket for the viewing, a funeral director expenses, right? Because it costs to get the hair done, all of those things. And it can all add up. Funeral guest book and prayer cards, as well as a death certificate. No, expenses are not covered as the cemetery, okay? You have to take care of those things for your loved ones. You have to take care of the cemetery piece of it. This is just the funeral. So let's give a recap, right? The coverage extends through the United States, Latin America, also the Caribbean, okay? The waiting period, I'm so glad you asked about the waiting period, right? You don't have to wait the 2 full years to have your loved one covered. This plan offers protection for accidental or violent death 3 business days after enrollment once the first payment has been paid. Okay, for natural causes, 180 days enrollment once the first payment has been made. Non-payment for 3 consecutive months will cancel you out. There's no long-term contracts or anything for that, but the benefits that I really am just super hyped about, right, is that Assure covers standard funeral expenses. We transfer the remains of the loved one to the country of origin for final destination of rest. Provide 1 airline ticket for the exclusive. Now, the exclusive is that plan holder, the one that is on there. And then you'll have an emergency person that you'll put down, right? So if something happens to that emergency plan holder, they will go to step 2. They will go to that second person, and that second person will now become that plan holder of the plan. So it stays in your family. So then you get to add another 7 people, another person on for the person that's lost on your plan. Hopefully you're following me. Does this make sense? Let me know down in the comment section if all of this is making sense to you. Okay. And so we greatly appreciate you for tuning in. And so listen, it protects parents on or partners on the policy up to age 80. So you know that most plans, traditional plans that you have, it cancels them out after age 80. There's no protection for them. And so if they get on before age 80, it will cover them if they live to be 120 scores, okay? It'll cover them 120 scores if your loved one lives, and they can add 2 additional people. So listen, you can protect up to 7 people, as I was stating, here in the U.S., Latin America, as well as the Caribbean. I always get so tongue-tied on Caribbean, but listen, I love to travel. And so this is very important to me. Hopefully this is important to you. In all remaining states, 45, Washington, D.C., as well as the Virgin Islands, $900 a year. $900 annually. And so listen, if you know anything of the numbers that I stated earlier on, of 15 to 20,000 to just do a basic funeral, right, for your loved one, you're paying $900 a year in those 45 states, as well as the Virgin Islands and Washington, D.C. And if you live in other states such as Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, New York, California, or Puerto Rico, $600 a year. So just think, if you had two of your family members that are on your list, you saved your family some funds that you didn't have to go start a GoFundMe. You didn't have to take up a collection plate in church. You didn't have to go to your church. You didn't have to call cousin so-and-so on the phone to try to get some funds together. You didn't have to tap into your 401k. You didn't have to dish shovel or figure out, like, I still have to pay my mortgage this month. Where am I going to get this money from, right? So I will tell you there is an initial registration fee of the $30 that you pay. And for members 65 years or older, we have additional plan for you, and that is our silver plan. Our silver plan that I'm going to share with you, okay? This is our silver plan. And so with the silver plan, you can add those folks on that are 66 to 75 years old, and one person with the silver plan is $600 annually for a year. And for the silver plan for the other person in the New York, the California, the Puerto Rico, and those special states, it's just $420. Now you can get 2 additional plans with those, okay, that can cover them. And so, listen, we want to make sure that your loved ones are truly, truly protected. It's definitely in this day and time with so much going on with COVID, so many things. And so, listen, I want to open it up for any questions or anything that you may have at this present time. If you have any questions, if you're going back and you don't see that live button right above there at the top, definitely feel free to go back and watch the presentation over again. Listen, we're here to help. My goal this year is to protect 1,000 families, and I cannot do it without your help. So listen, if you haven't gone on and smashed that share button, definitely go ahead and do so. Hit that share button down there. Share me out with your family and friends, because this is something that is truly needed, right? It's not an if this is going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen, and when am I going to have this in place, or am I going to have this in place, right? And so, listen, GoFundMe is not the way. We all have those people that say, I'll wait. This is something that I don't want to talk about. And then we'll dive a little bit deeper once you plan your session with me to talk with me one-on-one. I'll take the time to sit down with you as the plan holder, step by step, and you can sign up there, right there on my link at the bit.ly/funeral protection plan. And I will help you to get your will situation together. I will also help you to gather those important documents as far as like your 401k that we talked about, to know, so people could know your bank accounts, your mortgages, and all of those other things. We'll get a planning book together of a roadmap to all the assets and all the things that you have to definitely to help you and your loved ones, right? Whenever any of your people on your 7 list have demise on, we want to help them to have things set in place so it doesn't have to be stressful and burden for that person that's trying to get all of your affairs in order that you didn't take care of. It's all together, all in one booklet, right? And definitely with couples, with my married couples, I'm going to be definitely doing some presentations in the month of July, August, and September, as well as earlier part in the earlier upcoming year, to definitely to take the time to do some live presentation. So we want to invite you out. We're going to continue to do the virtual because, listen, we want this to reach the masses, right? You tell about your good foodery that you have eaten in and all of that other good jazz. Listen, this is super important to definitely book a call with me. We'll go over it, right? If it's not something that you feel that you want to do right now, take some time, but not too long, right? Because time waits for no one. And we definitely want to help to protect your loved ones in the midst. Again, we appreciate you for taking out the time to come in today and to listen to what it is that we have to share here on today. I greatly, greatly appreciate you for coming on in here and to listen, right? Again, this is not life insurance. Definitely take some time to get in contact with me and listen. Check out that link there at bit.ly funeral protection plan. Schedule your consultation with me. Listen, it takes less than 5 minutes of just getting your 7 names together, their birth dates, and hey, you're ready, and you're ready on a right direction to definitely get started. So listen, thank you for taking the time out to tune in to listen to this presentation on today. Listen, have a great, amazing day, and don't forget to protect your loved ones. Take care, everyone.